List building. List building. I honestly don't really know what the hype is about Clubhouse. The last thing that I'm going to be focusing a lot on when it comes to Instagram is... Welcome back to my channel, the best place for new coaches, content creators, and entrepreneurs. In today's video, I want to break down my social media goals and strategies that we're wanting to implement for 2021. Now, last year I did a very specific video. I think I did like my whole Instagram strategy for 2020, and a lot of you guys really liked that. But let's be real here. My business is beyond just Instagram. We're on YouTube, we're on podcasts. We want to do a lot of big things for 2021. And recently we've hired 4 new people on the team. So we expanded from 4 people to 8 people. And so there's going to be a lot more opportunities to have fun with social media that I am very excited to be doing. And so regardless of what stage you're at in business, whether you don't even have a business and you're just looking for inspiration, or you have a 6-figure business or a 7-figure business like me, or maybe you have like an 8-figure business, I have a feeling that this video is going to be super interesting to you so that you can see kind of the behind the scenes of what I'm working on for this year and use that as inspiration for your business. So if you're interested in doing that, then keep on watching. All right, so this year, my goal when it comes to social media strategy is to expand my reach. I realize that still a lot of people don't know who I am, which goes to show that there's still so much room to grow. And the reason why is because the last few years, I have been neck deep at capacity. I have such a small team. As I'm filming right now, I have 4 people on my team, including myself, and that's the core full-time team, not including contractors like my video editor and the one-off copywriter that helps us for our launches and our advertising team. However, when it comes to full-time employees, I have a pretty small team. And so recently we decided to double our team, and now we have 8 members, including myself, working full-time on the business. And the specific hires that are really going to help me jumpstart my social media strategy is my social media manager and my executive assistant. These 2 people are really going to help me execute and also help me sift through all the opportunities and help me identify what opportunities that I should say yes or no to. Not only this, I'm super excited to have an assistant because then I'm going to be able to really outsource a lot of the small admin tasks that actually take up a lot of time over the course of a few hours or a few weeks or a few months. And so that way I can open up space to do things like guests on people's podcasts, have other guests on my podcast, actually jumpstart my podcast, and so many other opportunities like speaking events and all these things. So that's why I'm really excited to start diving into more platforms and really doubling down on getting more traffic for the business. So with that out of the way in terms of the overarching goal, let's talk about Instagram. So last year I posted a video right here where I went over my 2020 strategy. When I was going through that strategy, I talked a lot about creating shareable content, specifically creating social media graphics like this that would have a lot of people sharing it. But over time, what I realized with that strategy is I was spending a lot of money on a graphic designer to create these type of assets. And although it's really pretty, what I found over time is a simple post like this, which is just a quote that I pieced together on Canva, would actually get the same, if not better, results. And over time, I realized that I wasn't necessarily spending the right amount of money on that, if that makes sense. So I just felt like it was not a waste of money, I would say, but I feel like I could have definitely cut back on that expense because creating graphics like this can take up a lot of time. And if I can create something like this, which literally takes me 2 seconds to do and also gets me the same result, I'm going to keep doing that. And so my strategy for 2021 is to really not have all these fancy graphics and instead just stick to the basics and stick to having really good content instead of making it pretty. Now, beyond just not necessarily focusing on how pretty a post looks, the second thing that I want to focus on for this year when it comes to Instagram is increasing the frequency that I post. And so last year, my posting schedule was about 3 times a week at best, and sometimes it would even be none. So my consistency still needs a lot of work, and that's why I'm really excited to have a social media manager on board to help me with the execution and also help me with brainstorming content as well. And so for 2021 specifically, I really want to focus on creating more content more often and really focus on frequency more than anything. And the reason why I say this is because I know that if I post a lot of content, my engagement might drop, my likes might drop, all of that, but I have a feeling my reach will actually be a lot higher. Every single week in my business, I actually track all the metrics on my social media account. And what I notice is when I post more, my reach actually gets a lot lot higher. And also, the more I post, the more chances something might go viral, something might really hit a home run. And so I'm gonna focus more on producing more content. Now, when it comes to creating more content, what I am gonna do less of is long form captions. And the reason why I'm gonna do that is because captions take a really long time to write. And to be honest, I noticed even for myself, I don't really read a caption if it's too long. And so with that being said, I'm gonna focus on creating more short form captions that don't take that much time to write and instead have that shareable content piece be kind of the star of the show. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean I'm not gonna write long form captions at all, but what I'm saying is I'm not gonna put pressure on myself to make sure that every single post has a long caption associated with it, because sometimes some posts don't need that. And I think that if I do less of the long form captions, I'm gonna be able to produce even more content. Now, of course, I'm still gonna have content pieces like this where it's really almost like an essay, but it's not gonna be every single post like I was doing in 2020. Now, the last thing that I'm gonna be focusing a lot on when it comes to Instagram is Instagram Reels. And this kind of goes hand in hand with my goals of being on TikTok. Now, obviously, I have started a TikTok account and I did have some success with it for the limited amount of time that I spent on it in 2020. You know, I posted a few videos and I already got 20,000 followers, and one video actually went viral, and I didn't really have to put a lot of effort in that. So it really shows to me that TikTok has such a loose algorithm for me to take advantage of. And of course, as I create more TikTok content, I'm gonna save that and turn that into Instagram Reels content as well. Now, obviously, as the time that I filmed this video, Instagram did say that it would reduce the reach on videos that they know are repurposed from TikTok, specifically videos that have the watermark. So obviously, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna film the videos on TikTok, post it on TikTok, repurpose it to Instagram Reels, but just remove the watermark. And I've been doing that ever since I started anyways, and so I don't necessarily see a problem yet with that particular strategy. And so what you'll notice from me in 2021 is more emphasis on IG Reels and TikTok in order to just expand my reach and take advantage of the loose algorithm that TikTok has. And I know a huge objection that a lot of people have is, okay, but TikTok is literally like 15-year-olds. Well, that's true, but honestly, people like me, I'm on TikTok all the time. If anything, I'm on TikTok more than I am on Instagram as a consumer, not as a creator. I found that I have bought far more things from TikTok than I ever have from any other platform. I see a really cool product or a really cool service or software or whatever that I see on TikTok, and the next thing you know, I'm on Amazon buying the damn thing, or I'm like rethinking my life because of the hacks that I'm learning on TikTok. And so I really do believe that more and more older people are going on TikTok, and especially during this era where we can't really go outside and go partying or whatever, you know, a lot of the source of entertainment is found on TikTok. It really saved us during this odd time that we're living in. And so for me, 2021, I'm gonna be focusing on TikTok. Now, when it comes to my TikTok strategy, I know that on Instagram, I post a lot of professional content. I post a lot of social media tips, business tips, and all of that. I will still do that in video content for TikTok. But I think I'm just gonna let loose on TikTok and show my real personality as well. That means capitalizing on trends that might not be business related, but are just fun to do, or even showing my makeup hacks or something like that, or just being a silly person on TikTok. I think that TikTok is going to be a really cool avenue for me to show my real personality and not just focus on the business side of things. And so I'm really excited to explore that opportunity. Now, the next platform that I'm also going to be focusing on, and I'm focusing on a lot of platforms this year, but the reason why is because I actually have team members to help me now. Whereas if you're watching this and you don't have a team, oh my gosh, do not be like me. Because last year I launched a podcast and I already had 4 team members and I still wasn't consistent on my podcast. Even though I was having, you know, consistency in my YouTube channel and Instagram, just adding that third platform with a smaller team completely crushed me. I could not keep it consistent and I'm honestly kind of embarrassed about it. It's okay. We're gonna relaunch it because now we have more people on the team. But what I am saying is if you are someone who's watching this and you're just starting out, do not focus on all these platforms like I am. The only reason I can do this is because I have a team now and I'm really confident that my team can execute all of this stuff. If you are just starting out, maybe take like 1 or 2 platforms that I'm mentioning, get inspiration of my strategy for that particular platform and call it a day. Don't have shiny object syndrome, because when you do too many platforms, you're not going to be able to master any of them. And so that's kind of my tip for you. And so I was in the top charts when it came to the marketing category for podcasts. Now, obviously I wasn't like top 10 or anything, but I was charting on iTunes and that was super, super cool, which goes to show that people do love my podcast. The only problem is that I'm not consistent with it. And so now that I have more members on my team, I'm going to be focusing on doing more content. Now, I think in hindsight in 2020, the reason why my podcast fell off the grid, not only because of capacity, is that I was trying to white knuckle everything. I felt like every episode needed to be unique. I felt like I couldn't repurpose from YouTube. And I also felt like I didn't want to invite guest experts or anything like that. I felt like all the content needed to be original from me. And the reason why is because personally for me, when I listen to other people's podcasts, I prefer solo shows more than interviews. But over time, I realized that it's not a sustainable strategy. I felt like having experts and inviting even my own students to be on the podcast could really be a win situation. Not only do I get to outsource some of the content and I don't have to be the only creative brain and I can just sit there and ask questions, but I can also expand my reach that way as well. So for instance, if I invite a guest on my podcast and they share it to their audience, then guess what? I'll have more listeners to my podcast. And so obviously for my podcast, the Turn Your Followers into Clients podcast, I'm still going to have a lot of solo shows. You can expect me to invite more of my students on podcasts to share their story. I'm going to invite more experts and more guests to talk about topics that I might not be the best at, not just for the benefit of you guys who are listening to the podcast, but also for the benefit of me and increasing my reach and also not doubling my work. On top of the podcast, one thing that worked really well for me last year when we were consistent with it was creating the show notes, putting it as a blog post on my blog, and then having a pin attached to it. So what we did for every single content piece that we did, both YouTube and podcast, there was a time where we would do a blog post so that we could benefit from Google SEO, and then we would link it to a Pinterest pin and then blast it on Pinterest. And what I found during that time period is my web traffic skyrocketed. The only problem again is we weren't consistent, and unfortunately the social media manager that we were working with at the time didn't work out. And then after we said goodbye to that social media manager, I never really got the opportunity to hire a new one. And so I just abandoned everything completely. Now that I have a new team on board, I'm really excited to jumpstart this again because honestly, it was a strategy that worked really, really well for us in terms of getting more traffic. Not only this, the blog posts that we wrote, we also repurposed it to LinkedIn. And so a lot of these things don't necessarily require a lot of work on my end because I outsourced to a team member to literally transcribe my episodes and my videos, turn that into a blog post. And once it's a blog post on my website, we put it on Pinterest and we also share it on LinkedIn as well because why not? It's literally content repurposing. And especially for me, since I sell a product that's about social media and that's about starting a business and entrepreneurship, honestly, a lot of my ideal clients are probably on LinkedIn. Again, for me, I have no capacity to be on there. And so now that I have more team members on my team, that's definitely a platform that we kind of just want to repurpose on as well. We talked about the podcast, we talked about LinkedIn, we talked about blogging, we talked about TikTok, and we talked about Instagram. So what's next? Obviously, YouTube. Now, my YouTube strategy for 2021 is I'm going to be posting 2 videos a week once I have my podcast up and running. And when it comes to the podcast, I invested in equipment like this. So this is actually a boom arm with my microphone. I also invested in just having another camera. So this is my YouTube camera, but I also have another camera that's going to be my webcam camera. It's the Panasonic Lumix GH5, I think. Now that I have 2 cameras, one camera is going to be dedicated to doing content sit down style like this. I'm going to be filming my podcast episodes video style. And so by having 2 cameras, I don't have to like switch my camera back and forth because the problem that I was finding in 2020 was that I was constantly switching this one camera that I had back and forth, and it kind of ruined my consistency because I was too lazy to switch it. And so because I was too lazy to switch it, I would be like, oh, you know what? I'm not going to film today. But now that I have dedicated equipment for sit down videos like this and dedicated equipment for not sit down videos like this and are more kind of around my office, that's going to allow me to have no excuses when it comes to creating content. Because even for this video, I did not feel like sitting, in a different area of my office. I just wanted to sit at my desk. And so it's so much easier to create content now. And so when it comes to the podcast, I'm going to have content filmed like this. My episodes are literally going to be sit down style with the video turned on. I'm going to edit these episodes with the video. I'm going to extract the audio. And so the audio will be put in my podcast. And then the video will be put on my YouTube channel. So the second video upload that I'm going to be putting on my YouTube channel is going to be my podcast. Now, obviously, I'm going to be editing it and making it kind of YouTube ready so that it's not too long and there's no like ad breaks and stuff that could hurt retention. But what I realized from last year when I was doing my podcast is that it is such a missed opportunity to not attach video to your podcast episodes. Because when you have video, you can repurpose it. You can put it on your Instagram. You can put it on your YouTube. You can put it as a Facebook advertisement. You can do paid ads with it. And so when you have video, you can just stretch your content out farther than audio alone. For YouTube and podcasts, I'm going to be doing videos like this, sit down style. So every podcast episode is going to have a visual attached to it. And even if I'm interviewing guests, we're going to be doing it video style, and I'm going to post it on my YouTube. I don't care if it doesn't get that many views. What I just care about is that the content is there, because I know that a lot of people have different learning styles. Some people like to listen, some people like to visualize. And for me, why not? I can then repurpose the content and stretch my content out farther. That's my strategy for podcast and YouTube. YouTube will have 2 video uploads, one which is a dedicated YouTube video. The second video would be a podcast style, more casual like this, which I can repurpose everywhere. Now, another thing when it comes to my YouTube strategy, now that we're on the topic of YouTube, is I just want to up my game. Even for me, I'm just getting sick of sitting there and talking all the time. I really want to create content where I can go outside and vlog and there's more B-roll action. But the problem is I'm just one person. For me, it's not my zone of genius to like figure out what angles to film and how to create compelling B-roll content. And so one strategic hire that I want to make for 2021, or at least by the end of 2021, is a dedicated videographer and editor. What I mean by that is I really want to hire a videographer locally who can just be with me when I'm filming, who can follow me around. I don't have to just rely on sit-down videos, because I understand that sit-down videos aren't super engaging unless we add graphics like this or B-roll like this. But I really want to just show you my city. I want to show you more of my life. And a big inspiration that I took was from Shelby Church. She's a YouTuber, and she started off as like a lifestyle YouTuber, and sometimes she does business content. But I have watched Shelby Church really elevate her content by creating more documentary style stuff. Another example is like Jade Dharmawangsa. I would consider us friends on the internet space, and I feel like I love her storytelling. I think it's like her zone of genius. Like, she should be a filmmaker in another life, but it's not my zone of genius, which is why I'm kind of still in my comfort zone of doing talking head videos where I sit on my chair, turn on my camera, and film. And it has served me well, but I am getting bored, and I really want to hire someone to help me elevate my videos to the next level. And I really think that having a dedicated videographer can help me with that. On top of that, if I'm meeting with my team members and we have like an offsite, I want to hire a dedicated video editor to be there and vlog the whole thing and then create a documentary about it, because I know that so many of you are so interested in the behind the scenes of my business, and it's really hard for me. It's not a first thought for me to pull up a camera and film myself. And so now that I have the money and the resources to invest, I really want to take my YouTube channel to the next level when it comes to creating more engaging content. Not to mention, I've been looking at my analytics, and compared to the other YouTubers that share similar content to me, my CPM is a lot lower than other people's. I noticed that some people who have less subscribers than me and less views than me but are in the similar niche make more ad money than me, and I don't really know why. And so I really want to improve that, because I just think it's like an extra opportunity. I'm also not very strategic on where I put my ad breaks, because frankly, I don't really care. But at the same time, I do want to optimize it, and I want to teach you guys how to optimize it too. And so that's another element of my YouTube strategy that I want to improve on, is maximizing ad revenue. And so with that being said, what my plans are for 2021 when it comes to the YouTube channel is not just to create better engaging content, post twice a week instead by leveraging my podcast content, but it's also going to be finding ways to maximize ad revenue, because I just think it's a cool challenge to have. And when I see other YouTubers and what they're making, I'm like, I should probably do something about this, because I'm not maximizing and I'm not being strategic on where I put the ad breaks. And I feel like I could make my videos more engaging, and analytics don't lie. I look at my analytics and people drop off before 5 minutes. And that's probably because I'm just sitting there and talking. So I'm really excited to really take my YouTube channel to the next level by hiring a dedicated videographer on my team to help me elevate the content. Another thing that I want to improve for 2021 is my newsletter. So this is a problem that I have in my business, and that is I have a huge email list, over 100,000 people. But the problem is that it's been at 100,000 for a long time. I'm not really seeing a lot of growth in my email list because we get so many people who unsubscribe. And the reason why is because I'm not consistent in our weekly newsletters. And even if I do a weekly newsletter, it's really just directing people back to my YouTube channel. For me, what I found, I don't really subscribe to a lot of people's newsletters, but the ones that I do read are like the ones where people actually share the behind the scenes. It's kind of like a journal entry that they share. I open those. I had a friend who recently sent a newsletter to his circle of friends. He actually sent a newsletter to his group of friends, a small group of friends, just giving us an update on his life, what he's working on, what his favorite books are, what his goals are for the year. And I read that email from end to end, not just because he's my friend, but because I was like, wow, I'm really interested in your life. Like, that's really cool. And I loved the format of that newsletter. And I kind of want to build that relationship with you guys. I want to dedicate more time actually sharing with you what's going on in my business, real talk, instead of just directing you guys to these resources, because you know where to find them. And I'll still direct you to those resources in the weekly newsletter. But I still feel like there's an opportunity for me to share more of my life, what I did this weekend, what my business is working on, introduce team members on my team. I really want to kind of have that closeness with you guys, because the problem is when you start growing in business, you kind of lose touch with your followers, with your subscribers, with your audience. And I do feel like I'm missing a huge opportunity with my newsletter to do that at a mass scale. In 2021, you can expect more frequent newsletters from me that are going to be more personal and that are going to be in the form of the struggles that I'm going through, the wins that I'm achieving, my advice to you, and all of that. And I kind of want to make that content to be exclusively on the newsletter. And I really think that's going to help me with my newsletter retention, because right now our retention is not great. And so I really, really want to improve on that. Now let's talk about the Facebook group. I have a Facebook group called Turn Your Followers into Clients, and it has like 15,000 people in it, but it's the same problem that I have with my newsletter, is like it's been at 15,000 for like ever, which means that we're just breaking even. A lot of people join and then a lot of people leave. And so to be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be focusing a lot on my Facebook group this year. I'm still trying to figure it out. It's still like a question mark for me. And the reason why is not because I don't think Facebook groups are effective, but I think that for my business, there are other platforms that I just want to focus on a little bit more. There is a possibility that the Facebook group will not be as emphasized for 2021, at least until I can figure out what I want to do with it. By no means does it mean that I want to shut it down. I just don't really feel like I have nailed down what my strategy is for that Facebook group specifically. Because the thing with Facebook groups is like, I think that when you have a really big Facebook group with 15,000 people, moderation is so key. And right now, the structure of my Facebook group is I have turned off all post abilities, which is why people probably leave, because they're like, oh, I can't post here. What the heck? All the content comes from me and it's exclusive content to the Facebook group. I also do prompts where we can have discussions and stuff, and all the engagement happens in the comment section. But the issue is that if I'm not consistent with posting the posts, then there's no engagement, there's no reason to be there, and then people leave. And so it's really a consistency thing, but it might also be like a passion thing. Because I don't know what my vision is for the Facebook group, really makes me less excited about posting inside of it. And so if you guys have suggestions on what I can do with the Facebook group, do let me know. Or if you're a Facebook group expert, let me know about that as well. I'd be very interested to know what your ideas are and all of that. So another thing that I want to talk about is Clubhouse. I honestly don't really know what the hype is about Clubhouse. Don't come for me. I have an account. I haven't really dedicated full attention to it, to be fair. But the few rooms that I've been in have been just like not incredible. And I think for someone like me, I have a squirrel brain, and a lot of my friends say that I might have like ADHD or something. I don't know. I don't want to like self-diagnose because I have no idea if I actually have it, but I find it very hard to concentrate on Clubhouse. Let me know in the comment section if you feel the same way. I don't really understand what the hype is about. I know that a lot of people love it. A lot of people have gotten amazing results with it. They've gotten a lot of clients and a lot of that stuff, but I don't know. Like, I prefer podcasts. I prefer pre-recording things. I think maybe for me, I don't do very well when things are live. I like to prepare. I get anxiety when things are live, which is why I don't do a lot of live streams. And so I don't really know what I'm going to do with Clubhouse. I do know that for 2021, I want to put an effort in it. I've been on the app and I don't know if it's for me. I'm sad to say that because I know a lot of you guys want me to be on it, but I think personally, I might rather focus my attention on my podcast and my YouTube and TikTok and my newsletter and all of that. And already that's a lot on my plate, but maybe I can try doing a Clubhouse once a week and see how it goes. But for now, I'm more of a consumer instead of a creator on Clubhouse. I just want to sit there, kind of observe what everyone else is doing, and then make my assessments there. Anyways, guys, that's kind of like candid video that I've created on just what my social media strategy is for 2021. Super transparent with you guys on things that you can expect from me. By the way, another thing that I actually forgot to say is when it comes to the newsletter stuff, you know how I talked about how my email list is literally like plateauing? List building. list building is going to be a huge focus for me in 2021. I really want to double my email list. I want to go from 100,000 to 200,000 because it's been at 100,000 for a really long time and it just needs to be improved. But anyways, I didn't want to forget talking about that. And obviously, as I build my email list, I will have more videos about that as well in terms of other business strategies beyond just Instagram and YouTube. Obviously, those two are my bread and butter, but I do want to focus more on like marketing strategies, business strategies on this channel too. And that could either be in my podcast or in my YouTube. We'll see. But anyways, guys, this is my long-winded video, super transparent with you guys in terms of what you can expect from me and the goals that I have for each platform and what I intend to do with each of them. Thank you for sticking around in this video. Comment below what your goals are and what you'll be focusing on, and if I inspired you by any means in terms of your social media strategy. Now, I post a lot of content on social media, marketing, and entrepreneurship, so make sure you check out these two videos that I have right here as well. I promise they won't disappoint. As always, guys, I appreciate you. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, and a great life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys!